Hello everybody, welcome to our presentation about framework for predicting mentoring needs in digital learning environments. My name is Kathleen and me and my colleagues Ralf Klammer from RWTH Aachen and Milos Kravcik from the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence in Berlin. We would like to present our actual case study in the field of digitalization in higher education, and we are part of a group project called Tech for Comp, and this is funded by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. In the next minutes, I would like to introduce you to the topic, will give you some conceptual issues, and would like to present our framework for predicting e-mentoring needs. After all, I will come to the scope and the limitations of the work, and we hope of a good discussion after that. Digitalization of learning in higher education is actually a really prominent topic, especially in terms of the corona situation. It is asked how virtual learning actually works and what makes it successful. Most of the universities are currently evaluating their digital teaching and learning environments and conducting surveys. The TU Dresden as well. We conducted more than 8,000 students and more than 1,600 lecturers in a survey in 3 waves between April and August. We want to know what's the status quo about their digital and learning environments. First results were published in another paper. We've got new facets of mentoring needs and virtual learning context. For example, we saw that students struggle really much with self-regulation in isolated learning. With respect to the results of the study and with a view on the results of other studies, we see a high potential to support students by the implementation of e-mentoring technologies. And we ask us how we can identify emerging e-mentoring needs to implement the right technology at the right place in the right time to support students. Thus, we conceptualized the conditions first. In our opinion, mentoring based on different types of dimensions. Mentoring is functional, mentoring is situative, mentoring is contextualized, mentoring is also content related. We see similar phenomena in the consumer behavior studies in market research area. You have to know that in Germany we have a special tradition in digital learning. The last 25 years, students and learners were supported by learning management systems. That indicates that digital learning focused on the management aspects of learning. Also, you have to know, if you are studying digital learning, that digital learning follows more or less a rational choice approach by using technology in this learning context. That means students looking for special benefits during their learning management system use. Also, mentoring needs can be distinguished. We know from other studies that the one-size-fits-all principle doesn't work in the context of mentoring or in the context of learning. So we decide that we have to extract these distinctions before, because these distinctions influence the intervention logic. Currently, we can divide e-mentoring needs in digital or in virtual learning environments in 3 components. We have an educational motivational component, we extract a social emotional component, as well as we extract informational and instrumental component. The arguments or this result comes from literature review combined with our survey data and our results from the observation of our learning management system data. For that, we can use different technologies to support these aspects. And we follow actually a data-driven approach, an artificial intelligence intervention approach, and use these learning management non-reactive data to explore what the indicators for information and instrumental support are. For identification of indicators for predicting information and instrumental inventorying needs, We adapted the communication science question, who says what to whom, in which time, in which channel, and with a focus on with what effect. This is basically related to the work of Laswell, Kathleen Carley, or Noshua Contractor. We operationalize this question and we extract and combine our LMS dataset with a view on the metadata, combining with the environmental data, personal data, the interaction data, and we have actually a special view on the text data in the dataset with all content and narratives, with all opinions and sentiments, and also with a view on other constructs like links or inflectives. For preparing our framework for predicting e-mentoring needs, we assume that instrumental and informational mentoring needs follow an interaction and communication structure. All our pre-thinkings and pre-processings related to the theoretical or conceptualized issues which were presented here brings us to this framework for predicting e-mentoring needs. Okay, what the framework is showing that we can combine different indicators and categories, and we differentiated or we distinguished the following categories: text components, role construction, emotional aspects, social aspects, and instrumental aspects. In every category, we find indicators which have an impact on the predicting of informational or instrumental mentoring needs. The content-based textual components, for example, are the number of questions as well as the number of punctuations. We find some logistic in our logistic regression models that also role construction have a deep impact on the predicting of informational or instrumental need. Also, we can measure the relation or the correlation between the emotional aspect and the predicting information instrumental needs via the sentiments. The connotation of an article is really important if you have an informal or informal mentoring need. Also, we can show an effect on the number of emojis, emoticons, and the inflectives on the informational or instrumental mentoring supporting needs. On the other side, which is more related to the follower article, these are the social aspects and the instrumental aspects. We measure the instrumental aspects from the follower ID, and the number of the frequency of links play an important role for predicting informational support. And we have also started the measuring the social aspects. What means we have a look on the co-construction procedures. In the container co-construction, you can find some measurements about the neighborhood, the homophily, and the closeness. And we have started to predict or to measure the correlations between the neighborhoods and the homophily and the closeness principles on the prediction model for informational and instrumental mentoring needs. So this brings us to the fact that the use of forums and learning management systems can be extracted really clear and a bit more structural. And you can measure some statistical values which indicates that they are in relation to informational or instrumental mentoring needs. Yeah, that brings me to the scope and the limitations of the work. We have only a small data set with only 60,616 messages in 123 forums with 1,490 users from a special learning management system called Opal, the most prominent system in the state of Saxony in Germany. But we have only the data set from the giant component cluster and only in the time period from between 2008 and 2010. We struggled a bit with all the missing data. We have some problems with the missing metadata and role data, so that we struggled a bit also with the communication data. It's important because we see an emergence of the internet behavior in the last 5 years, and these phenomena are not involved actually in our model, but we think they have an impact. We ordered a new data set, and we hope we get a new data set in the nearest future. Also, we evaluate our coding scheme actually, especially for instrumental support, and this is work in progress. But we can assume or we can summarize that benchmarks are needed because this topic, prediction modeling, is not only a topic in learning management systems, also a topic in consumer research as well as in the era of market research and the era of communication research. Prediction models could be a really interesting instrument, but prediction models are strongly related to their context and have to be researched in their context. And this brings us to the fact that research is also needed. So thank you for your attention. My colleagues Ralph, Milos, and me, we are really proud to be a part of this virtual GER this year. And we hope of a good discussion after this presentation. And if you have any question, don't hesitate and contact us. And we hope we stay in contact. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.